Let me show you what fusion can do!
Something that always kind of irked me, especially when we were playing these alongside of the Budokai series games. For example, I believe if you play Infinite World, Dragon Ball Z Budokai 4 pretty much, and you're actually counting the characters and the transformations, it's about as much, if not co-equal to Tenkaichi 1 or maybe even Tenkaichi 2. It's just, they count their characters as individual characters as base, and then the transformations they count as just the same part of that character's kit. They don't include them as being separate characters. And a lot of the talk that I was hearing earlier on is that every single one of these characters is going to play differently, but it's the same Tenkaichi setup that it was before. A lot of the characters not only have the same moveset, maybe with a little bit of Raging Blast mixed in there, but a lot of it is still in that same vein of copycat characters pretty much, or a lot of the characters feeling samey and not a lot of them actually having like differentials in their original kit, if you want. I think that that's like not really too big of a deal for me personally. It's more so the fact that like when they say we're going to get like 22 plus characters in these 3 DLC packs, what we're really getting is like I don't know, have that or something, because most of those characters are going to come with transformation kits. For example, if we're going through Daima characters for the next upcoming passes, and we're going to say, alright, well, we're going to have Vegeta, which we already got revealed, same with Glorio, but if we have Vegeta, is that pack going to include Vegeta, Super Saiyan Vegeta, and then like Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta? Which I assume it would. Then if so, if that's the case, notwithstanding they actually just like copy Super Saiyan 1 and put lightning on it to call it Super Saiyan 2, that's going to be included as 3 different characters as opposed to 1 with a base. Which, like I said, if you're used to Tenkaichi, you're probably not thinking this is too big of a deal. This is something they've done since the first iteration of the game. They've always purported to have way more characters on the back of their boxes than they actually do. They bloat the numbers, particularly I think it was because of the competition more so with Dimps and the Budokai series, just to show that like, hey, we have more characters, so ours is the game to play, even though it did come out after the Budokai series, well, after Budokai 1, 2, and 3. I think that a lot of people that played back in the day, we just played both, and we kind of just got over it. It's like, if you want to play the 3-dimensional game, you play this. If you want to play the 2-dimensional game or 2.5D game, you play Budokai. And a lot of us are just used to that, and that's fine. I don't really see it as too big of a deal. Another thing that I really do when I get to the point, though, is when people are saying, like, oh, the TikTok generation, because that's what I've heard people saying on Facebook and whatnot, don't like this game because, like, content's not coming out fast enough. Like, the game basically just came out, and we're still already hammering and clamoring for DLC, and we're just like, we can't go 30 seconds without new content. The reason I push back on that especially is mainly because of the fact that the older Tenkaichi games in the series, except for Raging Blast 2, had just way more to do in the game than Sparking Zero does. There's basically 2 groups of people that play these games. The first group of people are the ones that are just going to only play online, and they're going to ignore everything else in the game, so they don't really care. As long as they have their characters, they can just go online, they pick their mains, they do the meta, they do whatever they rank up, and that's the whole point of this game for them. Then there are the people who actually like the single player aspects, like the Road to 100, the survival modes, the world tournaments, the story modes, and the customization, playing with their friends and whatnot. I guess you can call them casual if you want, but they still probably play the game just as much as those that are like hardcore. They just play in a different way for different reasons, which is also totally understandable. Those two clash when it comes to that, because the only thing that the online people care about is character roster. So it's like, I already have all the characters that I can play as. I already have my mains. This is my main set squad. I don't need anything else, and they just play for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours online trying to rank up. Whereas the other people that don't really touch online that often, they go through the game's content and they may replay it, or they may play it again later with friends, or they may just try to like do the multiplayer with friends and couch stuff. But when it comes to the online, they don't really touch, and those are the people that get burned out a little bit faster. And I think that's why people are clamoring for more DLC, just so they have more content, because when it comes to the older games, they just had more stuff to do. Even Tenkaichi 1, like, you can say that the story mode, in Sparking Zero does take a lot of time to complete, but it really doesn't, and a lot of it's bloated. So like you can't really you have to like kind of figure out the contingencies to move on to the next stage until after you play it, and then you go back onto the node or the module, and it actually says like the complete edition conditions in which you have to actually move on to the what if scenario or onto the canon scenario. And that's just bloated gameplay, because like you're just playing the same story over and over and over again, and you're not even playing it the way you want to or playing it to have fun. You're playing it to like specifically try to unlock certain conditions. So I'm fine with that also, but the reason that people are clamoring for more DLC for this game is just because once you beat the story, there's not really much to do. And you can do the creation mode where you're like creating your own scenarios and stuff and uploading them. That is really fun, and I really laud this game for actually giving some initiative with stuff like that. I personally like that mode, but I know a lot of people don't like that mode and also don't touch that. That's also their prerogative. But it's just seeing like there should be some free updates, in my opinion, to give us like more accessories, maybe some more outfits, or even DLC packs to just have just accessories and just outfits in between these character passes, just so that we actually have more stuff to do in the game. Even if it's something simple like customizing the look of our characters for how they look online or in the game, giving us more options to do the create your own scenario mode, just stuff like that. Even like the other Tenkaichi games, if you complete them, you would unlock actually completely different modes. Like I said, that Ultimate Survival Mode or Ultimate Mission 100, where your goal is to like literally have a survival mode where you're going past 100 people. Like that's stuff that we kind of miss from that, and the mission modes and stuff like that were in the other games that were cut from this game, or not even maybe cut, just not included in general. That is stuff that some people miss. For me, when I first heard this game was announced, I was like, awesome, this is gonna like, you know, kind of make the other games irrelevant, and it's just gonna be like basically Tenkaichi 4, but we're actually getting, you know, more content, more characters. I was silly for thinking that in the first place, because we already had new run-ins with this one with Raging Blast and Raging Blast 2. Spike Chunsoft is not the best when it comes to updating versions of their games. I do like the decent amount of content that is in this game, but people shouldn't be, you know, ostracized for wanting more content for a game that they love playing, because right now this is like the main Dragon Ball game that we have playing, and I know that like a lot of people went back to like Xenoverse 2. I like Xenoverse 2 a lot also, but I'm not really like on it as much as I used to. If I play that game a lot, it's more so the parallel quests or raids, and I do co-op with friends. I'm not really doing too much in the vein of replaying any of that game's story, unless it's like the Future Saga DLC story stuff. I really wanted this game to be just kind of like the penultimate like Dragon Ball Tenkaichi game, to where we don't need the other games, but in fact we still do. I've been playing the Tenkaichi series on stream, and people are clamoring now for me to play Tenkaichi 3 because we already did 1 and 2. So I may in fact do that, just because it scratches a different itch than people have, and I think that's an okay thing, and it's fine for people to maybe not like Sparking Zero as much as the old Tenkaichi games, or feel like it doesn't replace them and they still need to play the old Tenkaichi games. I would really love for a Tenkaichi HD collection for PS5 that actually just gave us Tenkaichi 1, 2, and 3 like on a collected version, though I'm not exactly sure how much of that would be dependent on the secondhand market, because I know that like the secondhand market for Dragon Ball games is pretty big right now. If you go into any like mom pa shop or even like GameStop or something to try to get like Tenkaichi 3 for PS2, you're not seeing anywhere under $150 for that game. So I don't know if that's like part of it. It's probably not, because once they ship the unit, that's all that matters. They don't really care about the aftermarket stuff. But I did really like wanted them to actually make like an HD collection for Tenkaichi, just so we have something to play alongside of this. But I also think maybe the reason they did it is because they were working on Sparking Zero, or at least had the idea to work on Sparking Zero, so they didn't want to kind of have like the game compete with another game of itself. Because let's be honest, if it comes to the terms of playing Tenkaichi 3 on an HD version in a collection, or this, I'm pretty sure most of the fan base are going to choose Tenkaichi 3 if they have online on it. They should. I mean, like, a lot of people don't realize that like the Wii version of Tenkaichi 3 is probably the penultimate version of Tenkaichi 3, because not only does it have like native widescreen and HD, but it does have online functionality, and you can still play with the classic controller, which granted, I do like the PlayStation 2 controller better than the classic controller for the Wii, but it's just a different way to play the game. I think they also shortened the animations of the transformations in that, so in-game it's actually faster to do the transformations. And besides like the the upscaling and whatnot, that can I think upscale to 720p or 1080i if I remember correctly. I'm not exactly sure. Even like a Wii version, like a Switch version of the Tenkaichi series remade or remastered would be great. I don't think they did 1. I'm not sure if they did 1. I'm pretty sure they only did 2 and 3. But it would be nice if we even got a collection for the Switch like that, or even maybe the Switch 2. This is all just to say that like we can all play our games the way that we want to, and I'm kind of tired of seeing the infighting and division between like the Dragon Ball community when it comes to like which version of the game you actually are entitled to like more, whether it be online or offline. And I think that like most people who are casual versus hardcore really are the same type of player, just in a different way. People like playing against strangers, or people like playing against their friends. If you really want to challenge, that's fine, but I don't really notice it as a challenge thing so much. It's mainly just climbing the rates to see big numbers go up, or also to just like have some kind of bragging rights. And I don't know, I'm not really a big online guy anymore. I don't play online that often unless I'm actually playing with like subscribers or something. But when it comes to that, everyone's allowed to like whatever they like. But hopefully we do get some more patches or some more free updates, or even paid updates that are literally just for accessories and maps, especially maps, and stuff like that in the game, just so we can have like more content to mess around with in the interim of waiting for these DLC character packs. And who knows what's going to come and happen after the Diamond packs are finished. Let's just see, and I want to know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Do you think the game has enough content, or do you think people are right and justified in asking for more content? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, or check the description box of the video to head over to the Discord and continue the conversation over there. But like I always say, guys, I will catch you on the next one. Peace.
Ivy Valentine subscribes to Mark Yoon, so should you. Enjoy your treat!
Dive in deep, you're all I